Hey everybody, Reid Henrichs of Valor Ridge. Purpose of this video today is to talk about California's latest infringements on the Second Amendment. They cannot get tired of losing in federal court, and we're going to talk about just how bad these are. Let's go ahead and get started. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that when a place like California is hell-bent on self-destruction, not only economically, but in terms of quality of life, violent crime, now they just can't seem to get enough of infringing on individuals' Second Amendment rights. And the latest that's come down has been three major laws that have been passed by their assembly, and then also signed into law by their Governor Newsom. So we're going to talk about those today, and then we're going to talk about how that defies not only the Bruin decision by the Supreme Court, but also defies what our founders believed for an armed citizenry. There are three main parts of the bills that he signed. He signed a lot of them, but there are three main components to it. The first is the Bruin response bill, because they just can't handle the fact that a Supreme Court case went against them and their radical leftism. So they can't stand that. So what they do is they just keep passing laws that fly in the face of this. So this Bruin response bill is literally lists places where you cannot carry your firearm in the state, which pretty much makes it nowhere. When asked where a person could carry a firearm under this bill, State Senator Anthony Portantino said, public sidewalks. And that's it. So if you just think of the arrogance of this and people that understand, he has guns protecting him every single time he goes to work. Every time he goes to the California Assembly building, then he's got armed people there, right? So it's just, once again, hypocrisy at the highest level. When asked about all these bills, when asked about these things, the California Attorney General, who just got slapped down in court once again on his magazine ban, once again a loser, he'll lose this one too, but in the meantime, he said, quote, "You can't be tough on crime if you're not tough on guns." Well, that's not true. The vast majority of crime out there is committed without firearms. And in addition to that, he's not being tough on crime. He's being tough on the citizenry of the state of California, the vast majority of people who don't commit any crimes at all. That's who he's being tough on. He's not being tough on criminals. In fact, these are the people that let these people out with no cash bail. These are the people that let violent criminals out despite repeated histories of rapes and murders and kidnapping. Like, these people let violent criminals go with impunity. And then, of course, if you're a regular person out there, then they want to punish you for exercising your Second Amendment. So his statement, you can't be tough on crime without being tough on guns. Well, sure you can. You can prosecute the people that commit crimes, give them the sentences that they deserve, such as rapists and murderers, armed robbers. Yeah, you can punish them, but they don't. They give them day-for-day good time out in California, which means if you get a 20-year sentence for second-degree murder, you're out in 10 years, maybe even less, depending on how much jail time you serve before your trial. So they're not tough on crime. They're easy on crime, and they're tough on the regular citizenry. The Attorney General Bonta also made this wonderful whopper about this. So what an incredible lie. He says, right to carry states increase the violent crime rate 29%. Well, how exact, right? But oddly enough, if you look at the last several decades, not only has violent crime plummeted, but it's done so since the advent of Florida being one of the first states to shall issue permits in 1986. And we're talking the vast majority of states in this country are shall issue, and actually the majority are permitless carry. So despite all of that, the crime rate the last several decades has gone down, not up. I don't know what he's looking at, but it's certainly not reality. So another part of this Bruin response bill is that you have to have 3 character references in order to get a permit in California. And once again, this state senator Portantino had another great soundbite that sounds great to his little followers that don't understand reality. He says, if you can't get 3 character references to say you're an upstanding citizen, you shouldn't have a gun. Well, you know, the odd part about that is that, first of all, you don't have to get character references to exercise a right. Do you see how detached from reality that these people are? Do you see how detached from it? It's like by their permission you get to live your life. And only if you satisfy their little criteria. If you can't get 3, what if I can get 3 character references that say you're a piece of garbage? Should you be able to practice law? You know, because if you can get 3 character references that say you're an awesome person, I could find you at least 100,000 times more that say you're a piece of filth. So should you be disbarred? Because everybody thinks you're a scumbag? What if I took a poll out there right now and said, how many people in here do you think Rob Bonta should not only be disbarred, but impeached and then imprisoned for violation of people's civil rights? Do you see how this works? And of course, his last gem that he says, right, is once again State Senator Anthony Portantino. Can you imagine the mentality of people that elected this person? Like, can you imagine their average intelligence level of the people that elected this person to serve in the California General Assembly? Can you imagine the people that put someone like this that represents them in charge? Like, the vast majority of people watching this video can't even fathom that, right? So his last gem is, when you go to the mall, do you need a gun or a credit card? Well, I didn't know the two are mutually exclusive. I happen to have a gun on me right now and a credit card. I don't know why those things are mutually exclusive in this person's world. Probably both. I don't know. Let's ask Alicia Dickin if he needed a gun or a credit card when he went to the mall when he stopped a mass shooting within like a few seconds in Indiana. Another right to carry state and permitless carry state. So I didn't know that the two are mutually exclusive, but in these idiots' world, these things are mutually exclusive. Like, they just do not understand how reality works, right? Because they just do not understand how people can live their lives any differently than what they contemplated. It's a preschooler's world. It really is. The second part of the legislation is the gun tax bill. So California already had a 10 to 11% additional tax on top of the federal tax that's on guns and ammo. So now they added another 11% tax. So you're talking over about 22% additional tax on guns and ammo in there. And when asked about this, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, said that this new tax is more of a sin tax. Sin. Now, I don't know if there's any people that read the Bible out there. I don't know whether, people watching this video read the Bible or not, or, if you're into that whole thing, or what a sin actually is. Like, a sin is something that goes against God's word, right? But what we do know from the Bible is that God said that the Israelites left Egypt armed. And if you're a follower of the New Testament, if you follow that, Jesus says, sell your cloak and buy a sword. Or if you don't own a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. So that's not a sin, being armed, like in the Bible. What is a sin is what's going on in the vast majority of California public schools. That's a sin. And to piggyback exactly on top of that, he says, the Bruin decision is a perversion from a corrupt Supreme Court. Perversion. What does perversion mean? Oh, maybe his latest campaign rally with all the freak shows that he was with out there. That's perversion. Telling a little boy he can be a girl, that's a perversion. Chemically castrating a child, that's a perversion. Perversion. Think about what the meaning of that word means. Maybe advocating for, giving special treatment of people of various lifestyles. Maybe that's a perversion. Maybe that's the sin. Maybe that's the problem. And maybe he doesn't understand what good and evil are. Maybe he does understand what evil are. But I don't think he understands what perversion means. And I don't think he understands what a sin tax is. And of course, the last genius part of all this bill is the micro-stamping bill, which will require all guns bought or purchased in the state of California in 2028 and on moving forward have to have a micro-stamping feature, which means that every shell case that's fired out of that pistol has to have a serial number put on there. Not only does the technology not exist for this to happen, but there have been other states that have tried to do this, and it's been entirely rejected at the federal level. So not only has this been beaten in court several times before, this was tried in Baltimore, or this was tried in Maryland, this has been tried many times where this has been ruled as unconstitutional. So they know it, but they keep pressing it forward. So the three main parts of all this, once again, the Bruin response bill, which means you can't carry anywhere but a public sidewalk, according to the people that passed the bill. The second one is the gun tax bill, which already puts an additional 11% on the additional 11% on the additional federal tax that they've already levied. So how does this fly in the face of what our founders wanted? I'm going to read right here from Baron von Steuben's Revolutionary War Drill Manual, and the link to this is in the description box below. And what this is said, this is a federal law by George Washington, passed in 1792, where it says right here, every citizen so enrolled and providing himself with the arms, ammunition, and accoutrements required, as mentioned before, shall hold the same, exempted from all suits, distresses, executions, and sales for debt or for payment of taxes. So, anybody buying firearms and ammunition is exempted from taxes, according to our first president of the United States, George Washington. But I guess Gavin Newsom knows a little bit more about the freedoms of this country than the first president that we had, and the man that actually fought for our freedom on a battlefield against tyrants much less egregious than what he is. So there you have it, folks. California outdoes everybody once again in absurdity and perversion and as far as ridiculousness, and I can't believe that anybody would live there. What a horrible scumbag place, and what a horrible scumbag governor, what a horrible scumbag state assembly. I can only wish that they get what's due to them, and I can only wish that what comes down on them is nothing short of catastrophe to the people that pass this bill. I hope that they just continue to be miserable, and I hope that they are not long for this world. We're non-compromising. I'm not going to compromise on any of this stuff. I'm never going to back down. I'm never going to stop calling these people out. I'm never going to stop putting it right in their freaking stupid face. I'm never going to stop calling them exactly what they are, which is tyrants, which is idiots, which is people unfit for office, which is people that need to be imprisoned, thrown in jail for conspiracy to violate civil rights. And that day will come, but it's only going to come if you guys pass on information and you guys pass on this stuff. It's only going to happen if you people stand up for your rights out there when they're violated, and it's only going to happen as long as people continue to tolerate it. That time needs to come to an end, because as you can see, it's never enough for them. They already have the most gun control in the nation. They already have the most laws. They already have the most infringements on the Second Amendment, and they keep doing more because by their own admission, this may not be enough. So the limits of the tyrants are prescribed by those that suffer under them, to quote the great Frederick Douglass, a person who knew about persecution, a person who knew about tyranny, a person who knew about other people trying to subjugate him. But in the end, he ended up a free man because of his bravery. And I hope that people in California do the same thing. As Reid Henrichs of Valor is reminding you, the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.